Shooting USA is brought to you by Palmetto State Armory, maximizing freedom with American-made firearms, and by Leadstar. For the ultimate competitive advantage, choose Leadstar Arms and rise to the top of your game.
There are a lot of reasons a young person might choose a military career, and adventure is certainly one of them. Well, for retired Sergeant Major Kyle Lamb, adventure certainly played into his decision. Kyle has been in a lot of dangerous places in the service of our country, including one battle that we've all heard about.
Black Hawk Down is just a movie for most of us, but Kyle Lamb was there.
Yeah, the movie's a movie. It's not a documentary. Who cares? It's a movie. It's an exciting movie, and it's some stuff in there is true and some is not. Who cares? It's a movie.
He was on the ground in Mogadishu back in '93, a Delta Force operator fighting Somali rebels. And if you get him talking about it, he'll say his family back home had it worse than he did.
You tell me where you'd rather be. Would you rather be on the ground in a gunfight, or would you rather be married to the guy on the ground in the gunfight, sitting back in America and have no idea what's going on with your family? I'll tell you this, I'd rather be in the gunfight.
Kyle Lamb grew up hunting and shooting and rodeoing in South Dakota. And even early on, he had a taste for adventure.
I had this vision that I would be in the Army or I would do something exciting. As a kid, I rodeoed and I played in sports and I've spent a lot of time outside hunting. You know, what's the thing that would allow you to carry a gun and shoot? Well, the military is one of those.
Kyle enlisted right out of high school, and he really didn't take to regular everyday soldiering, but that changed when he got close to some elite units and saw what he might become.
I did not like the military. And then I got sent to Fort Benning, Georgia for jump school. And I met my first black hat, the instructors. I love the military ever since that point because they were so professional, so square. I mean, they were in shape. Their uniforms were squared away. They were the epitome of what a soldier should act like.
So once the Dakota farm boy found his place, he made rank. And he made it fast.
Well, I was an E9 Sergeant Major, so I was the highest rank that I could get to. I never was a Command Sergeant Major, even though I did work in some of those positions. But as far as rank go, I went as far as I could go as an enlisted guy. But in special operations, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting an E9, a Sergeant Major, because there's a lot of us, because guys will go there and they'll stay in the unit I was in the unit for 15 and a half, almost 16 years.
Sergeant Major Kyle Lamb earned a chest full of ribbons in Bosnia, in Desert Storm, in Somalia, and through 5 tours in Iraq, and even got to hang out with the Secretary of Defense. He started a business, Viking Tactics, designing and selling weapons parts and accessories, and wrote a book on strategy and tactics, with 2 more to come. But there came a time when he needed to move on.
The reason I got out of the military was not that I didn't like the military, but I'd done 21 years, and Viking Tactics was actually a company by that time as well, and we were selling some slings and had some people that wanted me to do instruction.
And the Army was about to put him in a desk job. That just would not do.
I thought, if I stay in the Army, I'm kind of done doing the fun stuff. I'm going to sit behind a desk and drive that around. And not that that's bad, but you've been around me enough to know that I don't sit still very often.
Just as you would expect, the retired Sergeant Major Lamb is still shooting. On the range, a lot more than in the field. And Viking Tactics is a very successful business now, shipping military and police tactical equipment like sights and slings and assault gear all over the country every day. Kyle's newest project involves custom knives and tomahawks that he makes in his own shop to raise money for his charitable fund, the Stay in the Fight Foundation, which helps working families and individuals get through difficult times. These handmade blades are not for sale, but he might give you one if you donate to the foundation. How much? Well, that depends on how much you have and how much you think you should give.
You know, it's been really interesting because everybody's means are different and everybody's heart is different. But I will tell you this, I have some really good friends.
100% of donations made to the Stay in the Fight Foundation go to utilities, housing, medical bills, or other expenses of working people in need. There are no operating costs or management fees. Every dollar goes to help a good person out of a tough situation. But for Kyle, his main mission is on the range, teaching shooting and tactics based on battlefield experience. We'll see how he does it next. Not many instructors have a resume like Kyle Lamb. The challenge is to turn that experience into instruction. For Kyle, it's what he is meant to do: develop and deliver training that could keep one of his students alive downrange.
Ready, up, fast. Ready, up. A couple of things that we're trying to get them to do. One is we're trying to get them to drive the gun and stop on the target, not stop on the target and then drop their head down behind their rifle.
These guys and gals show up on the range, and it's my job to help them save their own life.
Okay, one thing, Lucas, bring the gun up on target. Just make sure, see how easy I can push you back. A little bit more weight on the balls of your feet. There you go, lean into it, lean into it.
I love being an instructor, so it doesn't have to be shooting and tactics. It could be, you know, making a knife. If I know something, I'm gonna pass that information along.
Kyle Lamb travels all over now to train military, police, and civilians, nearly all of it in the USA, because there's just too much red tape involved for training in other countries. This demonstration with some local shooters is on his private range in Tennessee, but the lessons are the same, and many of them trace right back to the battlefield.
Now, Somalia definitely defined some of my thought process, how I teach shooting. There's things that happen there that I don't think about them every day, but I think about them just about every time I go to the range.
Drive the gun, but make sure you're aiming. Shooter ready, stand by.
Kyle calls this one the chaos drill. 15 shots at 5 targets as fast as you can go. It teaches both shooting skills and the mental focus that helps a soldier or police officer deal with mortal danger.
If I get in a position like around here and I put my gun up against that barricade, it starts to slide down, whereas if I put my hand in here, this is what happens.
And I would say that one of the most fulfilling things that has happened to me is when I get a call, a note in the mail, an email from a soldier or a Marine or any of these folks that have went down range, or a law enforcement officer, and they say, hey, I was just involved in this situation and the training that you gave me helped me do this.
He also does classes away from the range on leadership, team building, and mental preparation.
You got the point now, right? Yep.
And there is a short and simple message behind all of Kyle Lamb's training and the way he carries himself both on and off the range.
Ready, up.
Be aware of what's around you and be ready to take action. And that doesn't mean always looking for a fight. It means being prepared, focused, and confident, ready to keep yourself and your family safe.
All right. You just keep your eye on your lane and do what you can do. You know, and that's taking care of your family and being productive and helping other people.
Everything else is just details.
Well, you've made it to the end of another Shooting USA video on YouTube, and for that, we thank you. It does help the channel if you subscribe, like, and comment, and that will help us keep the content coming.